Hey guys, this is John here with some race footage from the Pro 1-2 race at the Fountain Circuit race. This race happened this past weekend outside of Colorado Springs. It was a circuit race. You can see on the bottom right there, pretty standard square course. Half the course was on pavement, and then the other half was on these loose gravel dirt roads that we're turning onto right now. So we were taking these corners pretty slow. The gravel was super loose in these, especially on the inside. So 3 out of the 4 corners you had to go pretty slow through to not wash out, especially on a road bike. I was just on some 25cc tires, wish I had some bigger ones. And so this is on lap 2 of the race now, and the dirt was like the hardest section of this race. The wind was coming from the right across the left of the course here, and every time we got on the dirt, it just got super fast. And on this lap through the dirt, the decisive move of the day went. So I should have followed that wheel right there from the guy in the white jersey going up the outside, because when I come around here, you'll see there's a group of like 10 or 12 guys up the road now. And we had a field of like 40, so that's a pretty good sized group getting away off the front. And it doesn't seem like the field's just going to let them ride away yet, so we're still pushing pretty hard, and they're still right there. It's just so close. But you can see guys are more interested in just popping across by themselves. So nothing's really organized yet. It's probably why they got away. We waited a little too long to get organized. But you can see here everyone is kind of just going across by themselves. I'm not sure how many of these guys actually make it across, but we're coming up. It looks like we're going to close it back down. I was trying to go across the gap, and we are just so close, but not quite there. But I'm just trying to dig deep here, because you can get across the gap. It's a lot easier to ride in that pack than it is by yourself. Everybody's kind of got the same idea, and the group is so close. I've basically got the gap down to nothing in this corner. But coming out of the corner, just I think I'd burned too much energy in that previous straightaway, and the gap goes back up out of the corner, and I didn't have the legs to stay on it. And so this is kind of when I get brought back by the main group right here, and across this section of dirt there's a little bit more cooperation and chasing, and then once we get on the pavement, the chase is a bit more organized. But we'll see the group doesn't quite have what it takes to bring it back. So now we're going to jump ahead to the pavement section on the next lap, which is where the next move goes. So you'll see there's 2 guys up the road. This guy right in front of me jumps to go across the gap. I said, sure, I'll sit on your wheel, and he dropped his chain right there, unfortunately. But we were already most of the way there. So I just finished going across by myself and came up to this group. And so this forced a bit of a selection from our peloton. You'll see later when the whole group comes through, but I think we forced this down to like 5 or 6 guys, compared to the big group of 20 plus we had that wasn't really working together. So we thought maybe this would have a chance. You can still see that lead group just up the road there, still so close. It's probably like 10 seconds maybe into this corner to get to the back of the group. But we come onto the dirt here, and you should be able to see the whole group come through shortly. But we were still a little hectic at this point. like everyone just wanted to be across that gap. And so we had our little group here. It was hard to follow people super closely on this dirt because it was so beat up. There were some really bad lines you could take across it. There was no yellow line rule on the dirt road, so this is kind of the middle of the road seemed to be the smoothest, so that's where everybody was trying to ride. And that got easier once, the race broke up and we were in these smaller groups. But I was on the front for a pretty long time there. We'll see everybody come through now. So we've got a couple collegiate racers, Mesa right there coming through. There's some little gaps opening on the dirt road. But here's the rest of the group. And I think there was one more guy. Yeah, so that's our group that's trying to chase on right now. And so what happened with this chase is kind of just one by one, guys kept dropping out of the group and kept getting smaller and smaller until it was down to 3 of us. So I think we still have 4 at this point. So here's everyone kind of coming through real quick. Not everybody was super committed to this. I think everyone was pretty tired from the beginning, but it got down to 3, and then once there was down to 3 of us, that was when I got dropped. I just had been putting in too much effort throughout the race. But once I was by myself, this is on like the last mile or mile and a half of the race. I'm just coming in by myself here. The one guy you can see right in front of me was one of the other guys that I was riding with in that group of 4 from the last clip. So he was the next one to get dropped after me, I guess. And so when I came onto this last pavement section, I could see him just in front of me, but maybe a little bit too far out of reach. But this is like, the whole race ended up being like an hour and 10 minutes. So this is pretty far in. The whole race was basically a threshold effort, so I was pretty cooked at this point, but we're just coming through some lapped guys from other categories. But I was given everything I had left at this point. Had already like slammed all the drink mix I had in my bottles and all the caffeinated gels and the drink mix that I had, just trying to get everything out of this last lap. And so I knew we were still coming in for a pretty good position, and I knew there was a pretty sizable group behind me. It was still like 6 guys together who were pretty hot on my tails, like less than 5 seconds behind me in the final result. So I was trying really hard to hold that group off, and also maybe catch this guy. So you can see we're going around the last corner here. This is the best corner on the course. No dirt or anything in it. And so now it's just everything up to the line. There's like this little baby kicker, and he's just so close, but I couldn't quite close down the gap. And so you come across the finish just on the crest of this little hill, and I came across in 12th place in the Pro 1-2 race, which pretty excited about that for my first race of the season. So hopefully it just keeps improving from there. We've got some big races coming up this summer, doing USA Crit stuff with Primalati Denver. So hopefully I'll have more videos of that for you guys. Thanks.